What's up, guys, and welcome back for another Star Citizen video. We're going to be going over the Reclaimer in this video. This is going to be your multi-crew salvager, but I use it solo because that's just kind of my thing. I'll walk through the layout in this video, talk about the price, talk about the different turrets and the different features. The first elevator here in the front, you can go up into there, and it'll take you right near the bridge. If you use the back elevator, you're just going to have to travel a lot. What's one of my biggest gripes with the bigger multi-cruise ships is there's just a labyrinth of rooms. One of my biggest complaints actually with like the Mole, for instance, is just there's a lot of movement around to get to different roles as a solo player. But and here's the bridge. You got two seats here. This one is for the pilot seat. So we're going to jump in here. We're in Lorville right now. I'm going to take off. Landing this thing is can be a little tedious. It takes a little practice when you first get into it. But it's just slow and steady, kind of wins the race. You have a really big fuel tank on here. So like I don't even need to really refuel Quantum here. I'm just going to go ahead and call ATC and get these doors open. It's really important too if you have a lot of desync on your server. I usually wait for the doors to completely open and then wait like 10 seconds because I have had it where the doors are completely open visually and then I go to take off and I just explode. So if you have if you have a lot of desync on your server, just make sure you kind of account for that and everything. Now, one thing to note for this ship is it cannot use docking ports or docking collars, and it cannot dock in stations. So you're going to have to get really good at landing it because whenever you fill it up with salvage, you will need to take it to either Lorville. You'll take it to one of the major planets to unload it. I do find it easier. Actually, I sell pretty much everything on Area 18 because the recycled composite material you'll sell at the TDD. The construction parts you'll sell at the IO North Tower or at admin shops, right? So it's much easier to sell both those things if you have a mixture of them in your cargo hold by going to Area 18 because they're very, very close together. If you go to like Lorville or something, you'll take a tram in between the admin shop and then the TDD. There's the claw operator seat, which we'll kind of go over. And then over here in the back are two remote turrets for the salvage operators. Down through here, you have 4 stations here. You got a remote turret here, and then a scanning station, another remote turret, and then another scanning station as well. And then you have a main deck elevator. So we're going to call the elevator, take us up to the next deck. There's also a ladder access here as well to get down. This will take us up to this deck here, which has a few rooms in it. Maybe like a science or engineering room here. Not really sure. And then if you take the ladder up to this deck right here, it comes up right there on the floor. Just kind of move around. There's not a whole lot left else in this room. Here's some escape pods through this door. Not a whole lot to talk about there. There's more on the other side. And then we go up through here to this next part, and it's going to take you to like a berthing area. Like this is where the actual docking collar is, which is going to get updated to the newer standard. So then you have kind of a rec area. And then down through here, you have like an office area, like a captain's office. And then you have like a barracks. It has a few bunks here where you can bed log. I do recommend bed logging as much as you can since you are really limited on docking. And then through here is the restroom, the head, as it were. We'll go back over here. And if you go further down here, you have 2 airlocks on either side, which you can use, and this is like the big elevator here, which takes you to like everything. So we'll go ahead and go up to the salvage balcony, which kind of just like overlooks the entire like salvage processing area. You can use this elevator to move salvage boxes back and forth. So this is the balcony here. You're looking down on the salvage processing area. We'll go ahead and head down there. This has got 2 processors in it. Each one of them you can run at the same time, even as solo. I'll turn them both on because I usually make 16 SCU boxes. So, and those take 16 seconds to put together. So, I never really have a problem with backing them up. You just got to be pretty good about snapping to the cargo grid. As you can see here, we got a pretty good buffer, about 240 SCU buffer in there. I have them both turned on for auto eject. And you can snap to grids in here and everything, or you can throw smaller sized cargo down here, where you can have another person down here locking to this grid. This is just this would be like the salvage storage, but then you could also store more salvage in the actual cargo. And that's what we'll do is we'll go down to the cargo hold. The total SCU cargo grid for this ship is 420. So, alright, to give you some context on value, if you fill both the grid and the buffer up with construction materials, you're going to be looking at about a 4 million credit value. And then if you fill up the grid and the buffer with RCM, then you're looking at about 8. Let's go and get in the claw seat here while we're still in quantum warp. Then you sit down here. You got to look at the joystick here. That'll give you the power on. And then you just hit M to go into salvage mode here. Once you hit M, then the claw will extend, and then you control like you would on the Vulture, where you can right-click between the fracture and the disintegrator, and you can also get a heads up to show you how your buffer is looking and everything. Pretty easy. You just kind of point the ship where you need it, and then you can basically just kind of fracture whatever's in front of it. It's got a pretty big cone, so not a whole lot of tedious maneuvering if you're doing it solo or anything like that, which is it's actually still kind of tedious, but not nearly as bad as like the Mole solo, for instance. Finally, let's go and jump in one of these remote turrets here. You're gonna have to turn on the power from the top screen once you get all seated here. So power on there, and then the remote turret accesses the button down at the bottom. Has pretty decent articulation. Now, if you're going to be actually scraping the holes of stuff, you're going to want to tilt your the nose of the reclaimer up a little bit to like the higher end of your target, since this turret is technically lower than the bridge. It's about in line with the claw actually, so just keep that in mind. I don't usually scrape hole when I'm solo because it takes too long, it's tedious, but you can if you want. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this tour of the Reclaimer. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to try out Star Citizen, use the referral link in the description, and you get some goodies with that. Until next time, fly safe.